Well, hello everyone. Welcome on in. I have my comfortable stuff on and I'm ready for you guys to sit here, relax, and do some math. My name is Audrey Codner. I'm the owner of ACG Math Tutoring, and I'm here to help you out, break down some concepts, and let's have some fun while we're doing this. Nice, easy music in the background. We're getting ready for a nice little snowstorm that's about to drop up here in Baltimore. And I just feel like doing some math. So last time that we were here at this time, I know you're like, Audrey, I thought you were coming on at 8:30. But guess what? I made the decision that I'm going to come on twice a day. Hello. Is this Rodney? Hi, Rodney. How are you? So what we did yesterday, we kind of walked ourselves through how to do one-step equations. So with the one-step equations, this is going to be day 2 of this. We did through addition, subtraction, and slightly of multiplication. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do division. But I'm just going to do as a refresher, we have to do these by using the inverses. So the inverse, if it's a plus, that means the inverse of plus is going to be minus, and vice versa. Same with multiplication. I'm not going to use an x for multiplication because a lot of people get it confused with using the x as a variable, which is an unknown value. So multiplication, the inverse of multiplication is division, and vice versa. So quick refresher. So if we have, I'm going to write the word refresh right here. And I'm hoping you guys are having a great day. Right now I'm feeling pretty tired. It's been a really long morning, but I'm happy to be here. So if I am looking at x plus 7 equals 11. So x plus 7 equals 11. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. There we go. So we don't have to put the blinders on today. All right. So since we are trying, our goal is to basically isolate the variable. So anytime you're trying to solve an equation, you want to isolate that variable. That is our goal. That means we want the x on one side of the equal sign by itself, and our constants and everything else on the other side of the equal sign. So if we take a look, we have x plus 7. So in order for x to be by itself, we need to get rid or move that plus 7. So we want the x to stay right where it is, but we want to move the plus 7. So we know that addition, the inverse of addition, is subtraction. So we're going to subtract 7 on both sides. Whatever you do on one side of the equal sign, you must do on the other. Hey, Lacey, how are you? Okay, so if you're here, go ahead and share the live and also tap the screen when you get a chance. I would greatly appreciate it. So now that we're subtracting the 7, what's here? Positive 7 minus 7 will give me 0. So we don't need to put 0 as a placeholder because we still have the x over here. So we're just going to bring down the x as well as the equal sign. So now 11 minus 7, we're going to put our 4 down. So now we know that x is equal to 4. So as mentioned yesterday, I'm going to review it. This 4 is basically the number that I'm going to take in place of the x to make this equation equal and make it into a true statement. So that 4 plus 7, that does give me my 11. So this is the reason why you're doing this. You're doing this so you can figure out what number in place of x is going to make this equation true. All right? So Thank you. So if anything, if you like this, and I have a couple people in here, if you want to share the live, go ahead and share the live. You know, the more the merrier. We want to make sure everything and everyone is doing all right. So now what happens if I do, let's go with another example. Let's say x minus 8 is equal to 13. So let me slide that over. So I want to isolate my x. We want to get that variable by itself. So in order for me to get that x by itself, just like a relationship, you need to break somebody off. You need this person to get out of your life. Let them move out of your life into someone else's. But you have to do the opposite of what you guys attracted each other with. I know, you see how math still deals with relationships? So you have that minus 8. So if we look at our inverses, let me slide over. So when I'm looking at my inverse, we're saying the inverse of plus is minus, as well as minus, the inverse of minus is plus. So I need, in order for me to get rid of this 8, I need to add the 8 to both sides. Because whatever I do on one side of the equal sign, it's almost like a little barrier, I have to do onto the other side. So negative 8 plus 8, they cancel out and give me 0. I don't have to put the 0 because I still have x on the same side of that equal sign. So that x comes down. And now I have 13 plus 8. So 13 plus 8 will give me 21. So the number that will make this statement, x minus 8 equals 13, a true statement, is going to be 21. All right? So that's what we did a little bit last time. And we also talked a little bit about multiplication. So if I have, let's say, 6x is equal to 18. 6x is the same as saying 6 times x. Okay, so that's crucial. So when you don't see a plus or a minus sign in between the 6 and the variable, that means, just want to say hello, that means that this is multiplication. All right, so some people are just like, I don't know what's the difference in multiplication and division. So right now, if I don't have a plus or a minus sign, like we did for these, in between the variable and the number, that means you're doing multiplication. So if we take a look, we want to isolate our variable. So we want this x right here, and sometimes the x could be you. You want your independence back, okay? You had this person in your life, now it's time for me to get rid of. So I have to do the opposite. So as we can see, multiplication, the inverse of multiplication is division. So I need to divide both sides by the number that is next to the x, which in this case is 6. Whatever I do to one side of the equal sign, I'm going to do to the other. So now this time 6 is being divided by 6. So this is not going to give me 0. It's not 6 minus 6. It's 6 divided by 6. So anything divided by itself will always equal 1, and I'm going to bring down my x. So now we have 18 divided by 6. So how many groups of 6 can fit into 18? That will be 3. And then this is what a lot of my students tend to do. They're just like, okay, we have our 1. That means we have to divide everything by 1. Okay, if we divide everything by 1, doesn't 1, anything divisible by 1 is going to be itself? So this is to tell you that 1x and x means exactly the same thing. Okay, so if you do not see a number in front of the variable, it's always assumed to be a 1. So this is how we're doing with multiplication. So we did addition, we did subtraction, okay? We did some multiplication. So now let's get with the piece de resistance. We're going to work on dividing. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, I'm freaking out. Like, no, don't freak out. It's okay. But the one thing that you need to understand when you are dividing fractions, you have to know that, let's say we're doing 1/2 a variable is going to be equal to, is that Cara? Is going to be equal to, let's say 10. So you're probably saying, well, Audrey, how are we going to solve this? Because I'm not sure about this fraction form, and I really want to isolate that variable. So here's one thing. All right, thank you so much for the likes, guys, and thanks for stopping in. All right. So if you want to, you can also share the live. So if anything, with the 1/2 x, and there was a rule that I kind of mentioned yesterday. When you see a fraction, that means division. What's the inverse of division? Well, then let's go to our little chart over here. And we're saying that if we have division, which is in fraction form, that means the inverse is multiplication. So that means I have to multiply both sides by a number to help me figure this out. The easiest way that I can show you that you want to multiply by, always take a look at the denominator. Okay, remember, fractions have two names. So the different parts of it, the top portion is called your numerator. Let's see if Audrey can spell. It's been that time of day, right? And then the bottom portion is called your denominator. So anytime you see something like this, you always want to multiply both sides by whatever your denominator is. So let's make it easy for ourselves. So if I multiply this side by 2, I multiply this side by 2. So now this is what's happening. You have 2 being multiplied by 1/2. So 2 is a whole number. If I can put that 2 over 1, I can multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators. So 2 times 1, that gives me 2. 1 times 2, yep, same 2. But what's 2 divided by 2? This should look similar to what we did over here. Okay? So 6 divided by 6 gave us 1. That means 2 divided by 2 is also going to give us 1. And there was an x. So the x just comes on down. Thank you for the likes, guys. I appreciate it. So what happens is when you multiply, so here's the shortcut. When you multiply both sides by the denominators, the denominator and that whole number is going to cancel out. And it's going to leave you with whatever the numerator is. In this case, it's 1. Isn't that what we got down here? And it also has the x. The x came down. So when you're doing some things like this, whatever the denominator is, multiply both sides by it. So it can cancel out. And now we got 1x. So that's the left side. Now we need the right side. So the right side, we have 10 times 2. And 10 times 2, that gives me 20. So we have 1x is equal to 20. Or I can say x is equal to 20. So basically I'm saying I can use this number, 20, plug it into my equation to give me my original true statement. So if you think about it, half of 20 is 10. Isn't that what our equation is supposed to be equal to? Right? So, oh, thank you, Kara. I tried so hard. Hey, Lynette. I know, I decided to come on this afternoon, and I'm going to come on later on this evening. All right? So when you're basically breaking down these concepts, don't let the fear of fractions fool you. All right? You can definitely get this done. So sometimes it shows up like 1/2 x, but then there are times it shows up, if I use another example. So let's say I'm going to use h over, I'll say h over 8 equals 6. I think it's because we're extroverts. I really enjoy going live. I know. See, we're addicts. Lynette and I are addicts to going live and showing our skills with math. Soon enough, we're going to have an AA type thing situated going on here. So, I'm so glad that you guys are here to witness the madness. All right. So we have h divided by 8 equals 6. Sometimes you may see it set up like this. So we need to figure out, all right, what number, let me see if I enlarge it a little bit. Might be a little bit crazy. All right, so we want to know what number divided by 8 is going to give me 6. So since it's in a fraction, that's division. So the inverse of division is multiplication. So that means we have to multiply both sides by a number to help us isolate the variable. So it's almost like you in a relationship. It's toxic. I need to get this person out of my life. So you need to do the opposite of what you say. So I'm going to go down to the denominator. We're going to multiply that denominator, which is 8, to both sides. So nice, the page up. Did we get on there? Okay. Is this in the way of the comments? Yeah. It's not the toxic relationships. Oh yeah. We all gotta bring it on down. So now we got our 8s. They're gonna cancel each other out. Remember what we did earlier. All right. Let me squeeze that in a little bit. Whoops. Don't need that part. Okay. So remember what we did earlier. When we multiply both sides by 2, we multiply both sides by 2, we were able to cancel out the 2's to get that 1x. So all of this that we did right here, we can eliminate all that. Okay. But I just wanted you to see what's happening on the left-hand side. But since now we know this, we know anytime you multiply by the denominator, they are going to cancel out and leave you with your h, or whatever your variable is. So now what's left is 6 times 8. And 6 times 8, that gives me 48. So 48 is the unknown number that should be over the 8 in order for me to get my answer of 6. All right. Any questions so far, ladies and gents? Hello, Tim. Welcome in. All right. So I like to use math as a form of one, somewhat comedic, but at the same time, like, it's always something that's going to be fun. And as I mentioned, I think it was yesterday, that someone just said, it just seems like I can understand math now because I'm not stressed. And if you think about it, a lot of our students generally get stressed out because they really want to pass the test. They really want to do some kind of advancement. But it just seems like no matter what they do, they still get overwhelmed and they still get stressed. So yes, I tried to make it relatable. Thank you, Kara. Trying to make it real world, because I always feel that kids, when it comes down to trying to figure out their problems, they know how to relate to TV, relationships, food. That's it. They're very simple. They're very simple when it comes to that stuff. All right. So now I have my x to the 5th is equal to 12. So since we have x over 5, or x divided by 5, is equal to 12, since it's division, the opposite or the inverse of division is going to be multiplication. What are we going to multiply? So let's get a little bit of you guys being active. Think about what we did. I'm even going to slide over. Actually, you can use the previous example as a model. Okay? Move up. Is it like the comments are in the way? Because I am like riding blind here. Okay. Multiply by 5. Yes. Because that is my denominator. Good job, Kara. So whatever my denominator is, that's what you're multiplying on both sides. So on the left-hand side, what happens to the 5s? Comments are in the way. Okay. Let's see if I can move up a little bit more. Okay. Does this work for you guys? Is the comment still in the way? Because I'm trying to look at my computer. I wish I could move and show you my setup. It's hilarious. I'm telling you, if I like sneeze or fart, it's just going to be a crazy disposition going on here. Okay, 5s are canceled out to 1, so x equals 60. Look at Kara. Yes, because the 5 divided by 5 will give me 1. I'm bringing down the x. So 1x and x means exactly the same thing. That's happening on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, all we have to do is combine my 12 times my 5, which does give me 60. Nicely done. Air claps. Air snaps. So these are the things that are actually occurring. And if you know and how to do it step by step, you'll be able to progress into the next one, which is like basically 2-step equations. Now, we could, why not? We can go into like 2-step equations, don't you think? Think you want to be a little challenged? Or you're like, not really. Okay, suddenly I feel smart. You are smart. So it's not you suddenly feel smart. You are smart. It's just a matter of you needed someone to kind of show you that you have greatness within you. All right. So this is the one thing I deal with this a lot with my students, but it's always like, I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. Yeah, you are. Nice try. Trust me, I'll be the first person to tell you that you suck. It's the basketball person in me, I'll be like, yeah, I'll let you know. And if I didn't say that you suck, guess what? You don't. Okay, wait, 2-step. Yes. Okay. Step in the name of love. Oh, wait, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say that person anyway. All right, it was a good time. So I'm going to show you. And I'm going to show you how we're going to take it step by step. So, doing the little advanced stuff. This is like a challenge. You know how you have the challenge that has like starred? This will be a slight challenge, and we're going to be okay. So, oh Lord. No, it's okay, Kara. Breathe. Breathe. So, we have 4t over 5. Okay, so 4t divided by 5 equals 8. Okay, is the comment still in the way? Do I need to raise up? I'll just raise up just in case. All right. Maybe not too far up. Here we go. All right. So we have division. What's the inverse of division? Put it in the chat. Thank you, Lynette. So what's the inverse of division? Excellent. So we have multiplication. And what are we going to multiply on both sides? Yes, Lynette, 5. So whatever the denominator is, we're going to multiply both sides. Okay, so that sounds familiar. We should be okay. Good, Kara. We're okay. So what happens to the 5s? Okay. Oh, Pop's official. How are you? It's been a minute. Okay. What's happening to these 5s on the left-hand side? Think about what we did earlier. Okay. Yep, just learning a little math. One day I'm going to come on the live and talk about my career as being a basketball player. So that's going to happen one day soon. Yes, they turn into a 1, Kara. Good job. Because 5 divided by 5 gives me 1. But this time, our numerator is not just a variable. It's 4t. So anything times 1 is itself. So guess what? When these cancel out, I'm going to bring down my 4t. Okay, and I'm also going to bring down my equal sign. So what's happening over here on the right-hand side? Thank you so much for the likes. I appreciate it. So what's going on here? What should I do here with this 8 and the 5? 40. Good. Kara, we're multiplying. So when you multiply, you get 40. So now this right here should look similar. Let me see if I can slide it. Looks similar to what we did right here. With that 6x is equal to 18. We divided both sides by 6 because we wanted to isolate that variable. The same thing is happening with our 4t equals 40. So we want to get rid of the t. This is 4 times t. Okay? Oh, okay. That looks scary at first, but now it's not. See? There you go, Kara. Okay, now I got you hooked on math. Next thing you know, you're going to be over here teaching us. So instead of multiplying, we're doing the inverse, which is division. And we're going to divide both sides by the 4. Okay? 4 divided by 4 will give me what? I know. I'm telling you, Melissa. I'm telling you. It's okay. So you got an answer of 10 because 4 divided by 4 gives me 1. And there's a t, so I can just simply bring down the t. Bring the t. Equals 40 divided by 4. So I got 10. All right. So, isolate the variable. I use that for abacus. Yes, you do. And that's what I'm saying. For those that are here, make sure you guys are also following Lynette. Lynette teaches how to count, how to use math, doing with the abacus. So she's a math tutor that also teaches math by using the abacus. So anyone that is from, I think she said 4th grade through, no, 4-year-olds through 8-year-olds and teaching them how to do math. Yep, this is familiar. Yes. So definitely follow her. If you haven't followed me, go ahead and follow me as well. Sometimes she goes on in the mornings and sometimes in the evening. She's addicted to lives just as much as I am. But this is basically it. You just did a two-step equation, right? You just did a two-step equation. You were freaked out in the beginning. Now you know how to do it. The key thing is the whole goal of all of this is to isolate your variable, to figure out what number will replace t to make this statement a true statement. Okay, so 4 times 10 divided by 5 will give me 8. All right. Awesome. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. So let's try one more. Why not? Let's live on the edge. I'm going to see if I can squeeze it all in here. And I know I definitely have a second page, but I just definitely wanted to squeeze it all in. All right, so let me raise up, coming up, making sure I'm out of the comments. Okay, isolate variables equals getting rid of toxic relationships. Yep, got it. Divide that fool out. It doesn't matter, male, female, it don't matter. Get that toxicity out of your world. And I bet you, of all things, that would stay in your mind. Each and every time, it's going to stick in your mind. You're going to be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I understand it now. So we have 3t. We're going to stick with it. Do it one more. 3t over 5 equals 6. Okay. Are you using a math notebook? Yes, I am. I'm going to show all this off as soon as I finish this one, because as soon as I go to the other page, I was going to show everything off. We'll get a little process. All right, so 3t divided by 5, I don't know what my sessions of 5s today are, but here we are, equals 6. So we got 3t. Someone's trying to interrupt your relationship with t. So we need to get rid of them. So since 3t is being divided by 5, that means we are doing what, guys? Yes, Kara. We are multiplied by 5. So when you divide, the inverse of division is multiplication. Whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you have to do to the other side. Okay? It's all about balance. Okay? I would say Zen, but you know, I am definitely not flexible. I would make Okay, I would say Zen, but you know, I am definitely not flexible. I would make a Okay, I would say Zen, but you know, I am definitely not flexible. I would make a Okay, I would say Zen, but you know, I am definitely not flexible. I would make a yoga teacher. Oops. Okay, I think we're back. Are we back? There we are. Okay. I don't know. My phone just said, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Well, I'm only going to be on for another couple minutes. But, all right, so backtrack, because I really don't know when you guys stopped. I'm over here having a conversation with myself. Nothing unusual. All right, so we have 3t over 5. We multiplied both sides by the 5. All right. So now, what's left on the left-hand side once I cancel out the 5s? Did you sneeze? Woo, yes, child. No, I actually had a twitch in my leg because I've been doing this crazy lifting. I don't even know why. Why am I trying to be in shape? Like, let it go, right? So then I had a Charlie horse, and all of a sudden my phone just kind of twitched. Thanks, Kara. So, if anything, what comes down? Just the 3T. Good. So I bring my 3T down, my equals, and then what is it going to equal? So 6 times 5. Thank you, Lynette. We got 30. Yes. All right. So 3T equals 30. What do we have to do next in order to get T by itself? 3 and T was together, but 3 started messing up. We got to hey, knees. Yep. Okay, so we need to, yes, divide both sides by 3. Okay. When they're messing up, we got to get rid of them. We got to divide them out of our lives. To be honest with you, I thought TikTok was shutting me down for a second. They're like, oh, nope, she's having way too much fun with this. So 3 divided by 3 gives me 1, but we already have the T, so you can just bring that T down as well as the equal sign. And then your 30 divided by 3 gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 DV. Welcome in. So 30 divided by 3. 1, 2, 3 DV. Come on. What we got? Don't be scared. Don't be scared. 10. Good job, Kara. All right. So that unknown number, to make that original equation of 3T divided by 5 equals 6 true, the missing piece was a 10. Okay. So you just did 2-step equations. All right, Miss Kara, Lynette, you guys are doing awesome. So these are the 1-step and now the 2 steps. So I know for next time, I'm definitely going to, which is going to be tomorrow, probably going to stick with this pattern for the 1 o'clock phase. But later on this evening, I think I might do some polynomials and just finding some like terms. Gonna match it up. I don't want to make it to be too consistent. All right, I'm gonna tell my mom I did math today. Yes. She's like, I wish I had stickers. I'd be like, here's a sticker, boom. A little stamper I used to have. I might have to look that up. Or, yeah, I know exactly what I can use next time we have like awesome people like yourselves. So when it comes to math, guys, trust me, no fear. I used to suck at math, like completely. Like fractions, nope. Word problems, heck no, was not doing that. But then it took practice. It took this one time I was an assistant, educational assistant for special ed at a local school. And they said, this one teacher said, you know what? Fractions is nothing but division. And I was like it just exploded. It was just, I don't know why. It just all of a sudden just popped in my head and it made sense. And guess how old I was when that popped? I was 25. Yeah, I was 25. But since I was working inside the school, I was doing a lot with special ed students and just helping them with their stuff and making sure that they're writing down what they need to write down and so forth. And all of a sudden at the rightful age of 25, this stuff started making somewhat sense to me. All because of one teacher that said, all you're doing is dividing. And then slowly but surely, because I was doing more and more and more with word problems. I mean, we did a couple word problems yesterday. And because we did a couple of these word problems, it took me a long time to get used to word problems and what were they asking. And the same thing is happening with our students. So as you notice, I'm writing inside of my math notebook. I designed this lovely thing to help a lot of my students out, to basically help them keep track of their notes. Because these kids, I love them, but sweet baby Lord, I have this one kid that I always use his paper. I already asked the kid if I can use it. This was his attempt of notes. And it's not terrible. But at the same time, when I asked him, what does your note say? He couldn't answer it. He couldn't give me a right answer. He was just like, I just wrote down what the teacher had on the board. And that's what's happening to a lot of our students. They're basically either given packets, or if they're not given packets, they're told to write down, and this is what happens. Well, after you wrote a couple of words, you have to look up on the board to see what's up there. Then you write a couple of words, and next thing you know, you look up on the board, and the same slide is not on the board. And then all of a sudden, you learn to just write stuff down, and you're not basically giving yourself time for it to marinate in your brain. That's what's happening. So I decided, because after looking at kids' notes and has it going all in a scribble, I decided to design my own math notebook. Let me see if I can do a little bit of shrinkage. Whoops. Real-time performance. Say thanks. So give everybody, I love this dot grid. I think I'm going to keep that dot grid for now on, because on the other side of the page, we have like the traditional grid. So something that you see over grid paper. And people can actually go ahead and do extra practice problems on this side. I have people actually doing some graphing on this side. Okay, if you're doing anything with graphs, you can actually do some graphing on this side. And your graphs are not going to look as wonky. This actually going to look pretty organized. And you can keep everything. So as you can tell, on the dot side, it's a lot cleaner because you got the dots where you can actually, circle and color in so you can draw your lines. Now, with this, sometimes there is going to be some calculations. And I'm going to be truthful. Kids nowadays do not know how to read that math chart that's in the back of composition books. They don't know how to read it. So what I decided to do is what's called, I know it's so pretty, isn't it? It's called a factor sheet. So most factor sheets goes basically from 1 to 100. So if they're trying to figure out, okay, I want to know what 48 divisible is. So I can go to 48 and I have all the factors of 48 right down the bottom. Okay, so I go not from 1 to 100, I go from 1 to 200. Because this book particularly is designed for kids that's going to be in the 7th grade all the way up to adults. So anyone that's going to be taking pre-algebra, algebra 1, algebra 2, geometry, also some trig, maybe even pre-calculus. So then I have all these resources. So the word problems, like I said, I sucked at it. But guess what? These are the most frequent words that are used for all word problems. So ones for addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, equals, as well as inequalities. Now, the rules of integers, no more confusion. Okay, the rules of integers are here. We got for addition with some examples. We have subtraction with some examples, and then multiplication and division. So you have all those rules, as well as the order of operations, which a lot of kids usually get all kinds of screwed up on, and the exponents, okay? Especially this one right here. Kids get confused on when a to the 0 power, they always say the answer is 0. No, okay? The answer is going to be 1. So with this, Then we start getting a little more technical, which I am going to have some updates, as you can see. I'm going to work on the trig. So remember SOHCAHTOA, sine, cosine, and tangent, Pythagorean's theorem, the different identities. You're going to see this in Algebra 2 and in pre-calculus. All right, kind of working a little bit with geometry and a little bit of Algebra 2. I've seen it, especially with the volume problems and the surface areas. You got all your formulas. Then you have the area of the sector, arc length, okay, almost anything and everything that you need. And then this is definitely the piece de resistance, the unit circle. Oh yeah. All right. So a lot of our kids that are taking Algebra 2, they're going to be seeing the unit circle. They're going to be revisiting the unit circle for calculus and pre-calculus. And now they have this new course called AP Pre-Calculus. And they also going to be using the unit circle as we go a little bit further. Now, the one thing I also understand, kids need a break. Everyone needs a brain break. So I incorporated a couple of puzzles just to kind of help them out. Find 15 words that best describe you. Go ahead and find those 15 words. You got mazes. You have a Sudoku. All right. If you want to color, just blindly get one part and then you just go ahead and color in. You can just sit here, meditate. You can use your pen. You can use color pencils. You can use markers, preferably not too much markers unless you have a paper on the back because, you know, the paper is good quality, but is not the ultimate best. All right. Because things are going to leak through. But you can aimlessly just go ahead, pick a section, and just color in as best you can. Now, if you got kids that are into pixel art, I have spaces for them to draw inside their pixel art, as well as go ahead and just do some kind of sketching. So this is my ultimate notebook, and I do have it available on my website. My website is on a link in my bio. I know a lot of people are like, why do you say that? Well, that's where it is. All right. Thank you, Kara. Yes. So I have this not only for 7th through here we go, moving things again. All right. Don't worry. Next time will be better. But I do have one particularly for 4th grade, 4th through 6th grade. So this is when they start breaking away from traditional arithmetic. Okay. Now they're like going into the introduction of algebra. So what do? As soon as you open it, you have one, I love to give words of encouragement. I believe that every child can learn regardless of their disabilities. Everyone does not have the same abilities. Okay, and if I can learn math, trust me and believe everyone can learn math. Then I give you a little space just to be creative, but then you're going to get 100 of these pages. Again, the same Cornell note style, but I have them as math tables or tablets or tiles. There we go. Okay, so then the kids can actually teach themselves to learn to align. Okay, especially when they're learning place values, their ones, the tens, the hundreds, the thousands, the hundreds, the thousandths, the 10,000ths. Okay, so they can get everything nice and lined up. I still have my mood tracker, which will be awesome for homeschool parents, also for classroom teachers, where you can just simply have the kids circle how they're feeling today, how they're feeling during the lesson, and then you can use this as an exit ticket, like how they're feeling about the lesson. All right, and it kind of gives you that helpful gauge. Now, after those hundreds of pages, because I finally got my notebook, so I haven't got a chance to write into it, they also get a copy of the factor sheet because since they're in that developmental stage, and I know for a fact once this thing got into the classroom, a lot of kids and a lot of teachers said we don't have to worry so much about multiplication and division. Yeah, we do, because there's some exams out there that you cannot use a calculator for, so you need to know your basic facts. In addition to that, we break down how fractions are formed. Remember my numerator and denominator discussion? All right. Got different examples. So if you need to do some practicing on the different types of whole numbers, so we got by fours, we got by fives, we got by sixes, we also have by eights, and then we also have by 12s. Then going from percents to decimals, okay? From fractions to decimals. The rules for that, this is all here, so they can always refer to this. The same thing with the fractions operations, how to add fractions, how to subtract fractions, how to multiply, as well as how to divide fractions. So these are like those reminders that these kids really need in order to advance. Okay, same thing with decimal operations, looking at adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. And as I mentioned earlier, the place values. So I like to put it out there and I put it in color so the kids can see it. Trust me, making these books and using color, it's expensive. I'm not going to sit here and lie. All right. So estimating and rounding. Also, how to do long division. This is huge. You're not just going to learn it in 4th and 5th and 6th grade. You're also going to see this when you get into Algebra 1, Algebra 2, when you start dividing those polynomials. So all of these things that they're learning is going to carry over. All right. In addition to that, the conversions chart, tons of that. I know you're probably like, oh my gosh, Audrey, all this stuff? I'm like, yep, all this is in here. All right. So I'm going to do that. All right. So then you have, again, the order of operations, just like in the other book. I made this book a little bit smaller because we're dealing with sometimes smaller hands. Area and perimeter, of course, is a circle, then it's a circumference. And you're probably going to say, what is that E thing at the bottom, Audrey? Like, what is this? Well, this is a summarization. So if you're doing perimeter, that means you're adding all the sides up. So that's what the summarization symbol is. So I'm also introducing advanced math notation, right? How fancy is your kids? Then we have our volume. Again, they also get the terminology page as well as writing and solving equations. And most, they're also going to get some brain breaks as well. So more puzzles, a little bit of a color section, another color me section, what's on your playlist, so kids can write down what were their favorite songs the year that they were filling in this notebook. And they also get the pixel art and the sketching. All right. And of course, the last page is my craziness. If they ever need tutoring, hey, you can contact me. All you have to do is just scan the QR code and it will go directly to my website where you have the contact forms. All right. So this is basically my math notebook. This is for 4th to 6th. This is for 7th to adulthood. So I think, so what book is it and where can I buy it? So you can go to my website, which is at ACG Math Tutoring, which is in my bio. If you don't want to go there, you can also go to Amazon. All right. So I basically had everyone kind of go onto Amazon, but I'm not sure how TikTok feels about me making the announcement of the A word other than my name. But if you want, you can go to my website. I also have all these books. I also have a couple other flavors. You just have the links to it, as well as I have courses. So if your child needs some refresher courses over the summer and you don't want to like go into some full force and you want to go into a small courses, you can get some courses for Algebra 1. I also have it for GED, also have for Algebra for the ASVAB, as well as for ACCUPLACER. And if you ever need me for tutoring, you can go ahead and just contact me there. All right. That's the next book I'll get, then I'll have them all. I know. And you're going to have like the whole collection. Like Anne has all of my books. Like this is like my math notebook. I also had like some coloring books, but I'm going to do a separate live with that one. And just like this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to educate our students and as our people as much as I can because we all need to have some kind of support. Kara says, I'm so glad you showed up on my FYP. I am too. I love Audrey's books. They help me. They help my kids. Yes, her kids even bought the books with their own money. I am still touched by that. Still touched. Me too. Want it all going for my son. Yes, definitely. And if there's anyone that's thinking about going back to school, trust and believe I'm getting some more adults that way. I do have tutoring for that. And trust me, you can. If you're thinking about doing it, just go ahead and do it. All right. You can have me for your support. You're going to be all there. All support, girl support. Yes. That's why I'm here. I'm here. God left me here. Trust me, he could have taken me out many times ago. But the reason why God has me here is so I can be of service. And I definitely want to make sure that everyone is identifying their greatness as well as feeling like how they can have joy in their life. If it's through mathematics, I know you never thought that you would have joy through math, but here we are, right? All right. So that is going to be all for me for today, ladies and gentlemen, everyone that's here. I greatly appreciate you. I really do. Because I know people are busy with their times, but if anything, go ahead and follow me if you're not already following. If you want to share my information with other people, so you can share as well. Can it be used for university students? Yes, it can. Definitely, especially for organizations. They may not have to write as large as I do. I'm just doing this for display only, but it's great, especially this section here where you have the formulas. You can actually write down the formulas off to the side so you don't have to go searching for what the formula is in order to solve. And you have some examples here. And then lastly, off to the side, I have the steps. So if you ever get a teacher that's like, I want you to put this paper in your notebook, you can actually have somebody tape the paper into the notebook. And then on the other side, have them summarize what is on that paper, because that's how you learn how to study. You don't study math by flipping through the pages. Yeah, yeah, okay, I got that. Yeah, right, good. No, okay? You have to actually, and this is what I always teach my students. You get a piece of paper. You copy down one of the problems on the paper. You take your notes and put it to the side. You do the problem on the blank sheet of paper, and then when you're done, you bring the notes back, and then you check it to see if it matches exactly what you got. That's how you study math. You have to study math by practice. And I know some kids and some teachers don't let students take their books home with them because sometimes it's a safety issue. But this is definitely good for anyone that's going to 7th grade all the way up to adults. So my college students, adults that are going back to college and they want to basically simplify their notes. This is a great organizer. And then of course I have for my 4th through 6th graders with the math notebook. I might change this to dots, but I think this is good for right now. I'm having a couple of people try it out at the schools right now. And as soon as I get there, all right. Hey, Sharon May. So if you need me, if you want them, you can go to Amazon directly. You can go under Audrey Codner, which is the name of this channel, or you can go to my website and there's a clickable link there. You could just click that and it'll take you straight to the books. All right. So if nothing else, thank you so much, guys. I greatly appreciate this. This was fun. I love the interaction. So I will probably be on again tonight at 8:30. I'm going to do some a little more advanced stuff, but you know what? Come on by. Come on, stop by. And you'll be shocked and surprised how much you actually know. All right. So, ladies, gents, have a great day. Oop, forgot I had to do this whole swipe thing. So we're going to end it. All right, guys. Take care. Bye now. Maybe, maybe not. We're just going to keep this going. What's on my phone is like, nope. I love how they're not trying to let me go. It's like, let me go, man. I know there's like 5 people still watching. I love you guys. Yeah, right now my phone is at 1%, so it's just acting all kinds of cray-cray. So I'm going to shut my phone off and see if that does it. All right, take care, ladies and gents.